Well, I don't know how well you can see this, but if you look really close, this is what we talk about when we say frost. You can see each piece of ground is actually frozen and crystallized and raised up. That's why it looks like strange ground when it's actually mud. So that leaves us with quite a messy bit of mud that cakes up under our shoes, and it even lifts rocks right up through the road and lifts culverts through the road, and we keep beating sticks around the farm to try and get all the mud off of our shoes. But despite all the mud that we had here, all the mud that's on the tools, all the mud that was on the wood and everything else, it makes for quite a mess when you got all this freezing and melting, but we can find a way around it to keep working. Here's the last piece of wall being put in on the first floor. Keep in mind each one of those beams is 100 pounds. And yes, those are pajama pants that I'm wearing under my jeans. Another side effect of having the high only be about 35. You can see ice on the floor actually, and this day I know it only got up to like 30, 34 or something like that, so it's pretty chilly. And despite all the cold and all the snow and rain and everything else we had last week, we did pretty well. There was a lot of tapping, banging, screwing, plumbing, flushing, and leveling, but in the end we got it all together, and turned out quite well. You can see here we're just getting everything squared in there, getting it all together. So now we've got a nice open bay, a 5x10 bay where the water line comes in to hold hay. We can hold up to 40 bales of hay. So that gives us an advantage in the winter and having to save on making trips. You can see our doubled up sills here. These cages for the winter anyway will have some guineas, chickens, and turkeys in there. The geese, the rheas, the coati, the porcupine, all these interior, and then will eventually be the petting zoo. So, pretty well finished. The ones in the rear are finished except for the sliding doors and the wire. But you can see some of the goats and sheep. Here's Woody, Stella, and Zola. They're together for breeding. And then, as you can see, the plywood's just setting up there. Here's our grain tube to be able to feed them through a tube, and it comes out the other side. Of course, Woody wanted to come up and say hi. He's our main breeder. There's a door latch for the pens. And here's the rest of the boys. There's Matt, and Rogue, Bandit, Cal, and the new guy. The new guy's the sheep in the back. That's a Tennessee painted calico. He doesn't have a name yet. And of course, all of the girls. There's Bernice, Caitlin, Star, Twinkle, Blossom, and Buttercup. And then we're waiting to get a Katahdin ewe, another sheep for the new sheep guy. So that'll be all of our breeders for the springtime. Then we should have babies starting in May. There's the rear door that goes out into the pen where the deer and the rheas will be. And of course the creator of all things Shady Hollow, hard at work. You can get a little bit of an idea here how much framing there actually was on the first floor. And coming out to the end, the last bays, there's a generator. There's the hay and the water intake. And out here where it was all muddy, this is where our strawberry patch used to be. Unfortunately, it got demolition. Now it's being leveled off so we can build there in the springtime. And where all this mud is now, a couple days after, is all full of gravel. Now I gotta warn you here. Scott and Lena, you might want to close your eyes for this one. And Joe, if you're still looking, you remember we ate our first rabbit. We harvested our first rabbit during the weekend when we were working. Here's the hide. So this is what an inside-out rabbit looks like. Ethan skinned it out so we can tan it and see if we can do something with the fur, because it was pretty pretty nice fur. It was blue and white, but anyway. Hopefully that will satisfy your curiosity a little bit to see what we've got so far. And we've gotten quite a bit more since then. But until next week, this is Shady Hollow North Woods signing off.